So the clock on the wall says 7 o'clock. We'll start our council meeting tonight. So good night, good evening, councillors, staff, television, and online viewers. Obviously, I need to work on my mouth tonight. I would like to recognize our First Nation communities and acknowledge that we are on Mississauga First Nation land. Prior to beginning this evening's agenda, I would ask that each councillor who is present via this video conferencing answer the roll call when I call your name. Deputy Mayor Paula Summers.
Present.
Councillor B. Dunbar.
Present.
Councillor J. Dunbar. Not yet. We'll go back to him. Councillor Wells.
Present.
Councillor Roy.
Present.
Councillor Poster.
Present.
Right. I told you that tonight I was going to be paying tribute to the mask. Here we are. This little face covering has become as commonplace as wearing our socks and shoes. We keep them in our cars, our purses, our pockets, and hanging over the sink after they've been washed. How many of us have realized that we need to return to our vehicles as soon as we have that aha moment, realizing that our masks are missing when walking towards a store, restaurant, or office? Our masks are our protection. They are our guard against infection, and acceptance of the new wardrobe enhancer helps us to keep a bright outlook on life. Remember, a positive outlook and a mask creates a negative COVID test. Although businesses are open, it's important for everyone to continue limit contact to only your immediate household. For example, if there's a limit of 6 per table in an indoor restaurant dining, regulations say any person in any open business shall stay 2 meters away from anyone not part of their household. So a couple or family may share a meal at a restaurant, but other forms of socializing are not aligned with what's permitted in the legal framework. Similarly, private gatherings at homes or residences are only legally permitted if physical distancing is strictly maintained and the limit is under 10 for indoors and 25 for outdoor activities. In general, staying at home and not gathering and staying 2 meters apart, like we've all been doing, is the safest choice. And these are the words of Algoma Public Health. The challenge, of course, is that such situations are difficult to enforce. And so we're relying heavily on messaging amplified by our partners like you. And for more information on what you can do, go to the Algoma Public Health website. They've got a bevy of information and lots of good things for you too. Remember, stay positive, test negative, and we will get through this together. Now, without further ado, turning to tonight's agenda, are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? And seeing none, I have a motion for the agenda and addendum to the agenda, of which we have none. Moved by Paula Summers, seconded by Councillor B. Dunbar. Be it resolved that Council approve the agenda, the closed meeting agenda, as presented. All in favor? Opposed?
In favor.
And carried. Thank you. And welcome, Councillor J. Dunbar. I see you were able to get in. Good stuff. And I have a motion from Deputy Mayor Summers, seconded by Councillor Wells. Be it resolved that Council adopt the minutes of the regular Council meeting of February 1st, 2021, and the minutes of the special Council meeting of February 9th, 2021, as presented. All in favor of this motion? Opposed?
In favor.
And that is carried. Thank you. And is there any business that Council wishes to bring forward from the minutes? Seeing no hands going up, then I will turn the agenda over to our guest tonight. We are fortunate to have Terry Davis, the new manager of Cameco, coming to us tonight, and we look forward to hearing your annual update to the town. Thank you so much for joining us, Terry. The floor is yours. I'll just get you to take your mute off. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Hegman. I'm pleased to be here today to provide this update about our operations here in Blind River. Give me a second and I'll share my screen. So this year is especially important for us here as we have applied to the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission, or CNSC, for our operating license renewal. And today I'll discuss this process with you, the councillors, and the community. First, at Cameco, we begin every meeting or presentation with an emphasis on safety, or as we like to refer to as our safety moment. I'm going to take this opportunity to share with you why I am committed to working safely, and as a leader, I'm committed to ensuring the safety of my team. When I was a toddler, my father was seriously injured at work as an auto mechanic. His job for the day was routine for him, repairing the brakes of a large truck. The task at hand was to remove the brake drums and take them off-site for machining. The safest way to do this was to leave the brake drums attached to the dual wheel assembly. He moved the assembly to the service truck, but was waiting for his helper to finish his task so that they could use a team lift to safely lift it into the back of the truck. His boss noticed that he was standing there not doing work and yelled at him that if he didn't get back to work immediately, he'd be fired. My father, noticeably upset, tried to do it himself. Unfortunately, he slipped while doing it and ended up shattering 4 vertebrae in his back. He missed about a year of work and was permanently disabled by this injury. One careless comment led to a poor reaction with life-altering consequences, not just for him, but for his family as well. Recently, we had an opportunity to discuss the incident. He said the worst part about it for him was, had he taken a second to think about it, and he had been fired and just gone down the street, he said he had 3 different job offers from other garages on the same block. It would have taken him about 15 minutes to move all of his tools and start work at another job, and his life would be forever different. So this is why I'm firmly believe in Cameco's motto, there's no job so important that we cannot take the time to do it safely. So today I'm going to provide a brief overview of who we are, what we do, provide some information on the licensing process, how we are performing, and our commitment to the community. Please save any questions. I'll be happy to provide clarification and answer your questions at the end of the presentation. As I'm sure many of you know, we've been in this location for about 40 years. It took a couple of years to build, and then we've been in operation for 30 years, since 1983. We're the world's largest commercial uranium refinery right here in Blind River. We receive uranium concentrates from around the world. We process these concentrates to produce uranium trioxide, or UO3. This is sent for further processing at other Cameco sites or others in the world, and eventually turned into electricity. Nuclear power provides about 60% of Ontario's electrical demand, and there's a good chance that fuel passed through the Blind River refinery. The Blind River refinery is 100% owned by Cameco and employs about 140 people in our community. Our current license to operate expires in 2022 with a licensed capacity of 18 million kilograms U as U3O8, and our production limit is set through the license at 24 million kilograms U as UO3. As a nuclear operator, nuclear facility in Canada, our operation is regulated by the CNSC. Our current license is valid until next year, so we are in the process of applying for a renewal. We are fully compliant with our license and regulations and have an excellent record over the license period. We applied in September 2020 to renew our license for another 10 years. We are not asking for any changes to the license in this application. Now I'm going to spend a few minutes to describe this licensing process. So obtaining a license from the CNSC is a lengthy process and detailed in regulations. In early 2020, our team began preparing our submission. In September, we submitted the actual license application with about 3,000 pages of supporting material. The CNSC technical staff reviews the application to do an assessment against the regulatory requirements, to make any recommendations to the Commission, and to verify compliance with the Canadian Nuclear Safety Control Act, those regulations and license conditions. This has been done. The material has been reviewed by the CNSC technical staff, and the review is summarized in what is known as a Commission members document. The next step, which is where we're at now, is for the Commission to formally announce the public hearing dates and request public intervention. The CNSC will formally announce the hearing dates in the near future, and we will ensure that council is updated when this information is available. The 1 or 2 part public hearing for a license application usually takes place over a 90-day period and considers the views, concerns, and opinions of interested parties and interveners. The CNSC will also make funding available for participants to take part in the hearings and provide a deadline for intervention. The hearing will be either in Ottawa or in the community here, although the pandemic could alter the planning to be able to have it here. While not official right now, we've been given tentative dates of November 24th and 25th for the hearings to occur. But regardless of the meeting location, the hearing is open to the public and will be webcast live on the CNSC website. Following the hearing, the Commission will deliberate and issue a record of decision. So more information on this process is available about public commission hearings on the CNSC website. We will also update our website with key dates as they become available. Discussing interventions a little more, these are the means for the public to participate in the licensing process. The license process belongs to the CNSC, and they will look at a number of interventions as a measure of how we are doing. Both positive and negative interventions are considered. The process is open to all individuals and groups and is meant to be accessible to everyone with an interest and does not require technical background. We are hopeful this council will participate in the process and provide a letter or more formal intervention to the Commission. Once the timing and process have been announced, we will be in touch with more information about how you can participate. Supportive intervention from the town of Blind River would be extremely valuable to the Commission to understand how we interact. Over the course of our license, our performance has been outstanding. We are committed to protection of people and the environment. We do this by maintaining programs and procedures that comply with all CNSC regulations and also other regulations that apply to us. We have a highly trained and engaged workforce and a drive to improve. So the CNSC is an independent federal agency responsible for the strict regulation of nuclear in Canada, and we are regulated based on what the CNSC calls safety and control areas, as listed on this slide. Our facility licensing manual is available on our website. It provides an overview of how we meet these requirements. We perform environmental sampling on site and around the community to ensure we are performing as expected and we are well within regulatory limits, and there's been no environmental incidents during our license period. Release limits are set for each parameter in order to ensure protection of the environment and the public. As displayed in this graph, our stack emissions are currently less than 1% of the regulated limit, and our effluent is about 10% of the limit for uranium. Interestingly, the water that flows from our site has a concentration that's about 10% of the limit set for uranium in the Canadian Drinking Water Quality Standards. It's also interesting to note that the concentrations measured downstream from our site are either the same or less than the concentrations that are entering the site. And we are extremely proud of our safety performance, and the Blind River team achieved 14 years without a lost time incident in June and continues to build on that safety record. We are proud members of the Blind River community, and we are committed to making a difference. We will continue to provide regular updates on our plans and activities to the public. Public opinion surveys are conducted every 3 years. We use the data to help understand the opinions of residents and improve our public information program. And we also provide this information to the CNSC. The last survey polling showed that the community was supportive of continued operation in Blind River. Polling will again be conducted in the next few weeks. We appreciate people's time and input into this process. It's quite valuable to us going forward. If you want to know more about us, or if you have any questions, we have accounts on social media as well as maintaining our website. We're currently available for meetings and presentations such as this. We will also be open for tours of the site once the current pandemic conditions will again allow meeting in person. I'm new to the community, but Cameco certainly is. I'm learning all about the projects we've helped with over the years and the sponsorship of great programs for both kids and seniors in our region. On behalf of Cameco and the Blind River Refinery employees, we're looking forward to working together and continue our commitment to the community. Thank you, and I'll take questions now.
Thank you, Terry. That was very informative, and we've always applauded you on the safety awards that Chemical has had over the years and the diligence that all the employees give to the organization. We also look forward to hearing about those upcoming dates and how we can be involved as a council. So I'm going to throw the floor over to council. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask Terry? Councillor Wells.
Thank you, Mayor Hagman. Terry, thank you for your presentation. Just a question with regard to the town participating during the intervention for the licensing process. Would that intervention take the form of just a written submission or an oral submission or both?
Actually, I think that would be something that we would leave up to you. We'll discuss both options. So certainly a letter to the commission is something that we would be hoping for, but also if you have the time and would be willing, appearing before the commission is also something that would be helpful for them in order to make the right decision around our license. So both options, we will make sure that we are clear with all the information for both options, and we'll leave it up to your judgment on to which way you would prefer to participate.
Okay, thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Councillor Wells. Are there any other questions that council has for Terry at this time? Well, seeing none. Terry, thank you so much. We will be following the critical path with you, and we will definitely be engaged in the process as much as you would like us to. And we thank you for the presentation tonight. It was very enlightening.
Yes, thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate meeting you all as well as we can over video, and look forward to meeting you in the community as we get back to normal.
We look forward to seeing those community outreach days too. We like those.
Yeah, we do too.
Great.
And thank you very much. Have a good
Thank
night.
you. So moving on to the introduction and consideration of administrative reports. The Deputy Clerk has given us a report on accessibility and web page requirements. Does council have any questions or discussion items that they would like to present to either Ms. Scott or Ms. Walsh? And seeing none and not seeing Jennifer saying anything, I think that it's fairly standard procedure, but also a lot of work behind it too. So we do applaud you and what you're doing to bringing us forward again. Ms. Walsh, thank you so much for that. And moving on to 9.2, the treasurer has given us information on investments. I do have a motion from Councillor Roy, seconded by Councillor Posterero. Be it resolved that council approve the following transfers of interest for 2020 to the obligatory reserve funds: the Federal Gas Tax Reserve Fund for $3,278.27, the Provincial Gas Tax Reserve Fund for $548.31, the OCIF Reserve Fund for $6,379.08, and that council approve the transfer of interest for 2020 in the amount of $20,423.52 to the NWMO Community Wellbeing Reserve as part of NWMO Community Wellbeing Reserve Policy. Discussion. All in favor of this motion?
In favor.
And is there any opposed? Seeing none, that is carried. Thank you. And from the Director of Facilities and Community Services, cemetery signage project and a timeline adjustment. This is an information update for us. Do any of council have any questions for Ms. Bittner on this information item?
I just say congratulations, and that sounds awesome that we're able to get that funding.
Yeah. And nice that we take something off the plate from next year too. So that is a good news story for sure. And again, from our Director of Facilities and Community Services, arena reopening post-lockdown. I have a motion from Councillor B. Dunbar, seconded by Councillor Roy. Whereas per the Province of Ontario's Reopening Ontario, a flexible response to COVID-19 Act 2020, Ontario Regulation 364-20, formerly under Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act permits the reopening of recreation facilities in areas that are green, yellow, or orange in health unit status, and that as of February 16th, 2021, will be entering Ontario's reopening framework, and whereas Blind River's user groups are able to continue their season in the event that Algoma Public Health is within green, yellow, or orange status, therefore be it resolved that Council authorize the Blind River Community Centre remain open to service the community until March 31st, 2021, and that in the event that Algoma Public Health is within the red or gray status on February 16, or returns to red status before March 31st, 2021, season closure of the facility, that the Blind River Community Centre end its 2020 season at that time. Discussion. Councillor Jay Dunbar.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to make a comment of how well our staff and all the users of the arena are doing such a great job following all the protocols that have been implemented over at the arena this last little while. And I hope to see no further waves of the pandemic. And I personally have no problem with this recommendation, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Dunbar. Are there other comments coming forward from council? And seeing none, all in favor of this motion? Opposed?
Sorry, in favor.
Thank you. Thank you. And that is carried. Thank you. And moving on to service delivery review status, we have no updates at this time, and we have no presentation of committee reports or unfinished business. So under correspondence, 13.1, we have Councillor B. Dunbar's committee resignation. And we have a motion from Councillor Summers, seconded by Councillor J. Dunbar. Be it resolved that Council accept the resignation of Councillor B. Dunbar from the following committees: Blind River Development Corporation Board, Blind River Chamber of Commerce Board, Blind River Library Board, Community Services Committee, Community Improvement Plan Committee, and that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Blind River Development Corporation. Discussion? Councillor J. Dunbar? Your mute's on.
Thank you again, Madam Mayor. I just want to take the opportunity to say that how much we're going to miss Councillor Dunbar on these committees and all the hard work and time she's put in over the years and diligence in providing these committees with some really good advice over the time and years that she's been on them all. And again, I just want to thank Councillor Dunbar for all the hard work she's been doing.
Thank you, Councillor J. Dunbar, for that. Are there any other comments? All in favor of this motion?
In favor.
Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. And I have a motion from Councillor Stephen Wells, seconded by Councillor J. Pastorero. Whereas the resignation of Councillor B. Dunbar from a number of boards and committees has created vacancy, therefore be it resolved that Council authorize councillor appointments to the following boards or committees. That Councillor Pastorero be appointed to the Blind River Chamber of Commerce Board. Councillor Pastorero, do you accept that?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. That Councillor Summers be appointed to the Blind River Library Board. Councillor Summers, do you accept that appointment?
Yes, I do.
And that Councillor Summers be appointed to the Community Services Committee.
Yes, I accept.
and that Councillor Wells be appointed to the Community Improvement Plan Committee.
I accept.
And all in favor of these appointments?
In favor.
Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. And moving on to 13.3, from MPP Michael Manthan, read the 2021 budget consideration. And I have a motion from Councillor B. Dunbar, seconded by Councillor Pastorero. Be it resolved that council communicate their concerns regarding the upcoming budget as it relates to infrastructure funding for Northern Ontario municipalities, and that this letter be sent to the Government of Ontario, the official opposition MP and MPP. Discussion? All in favor of this motion?
In favor.
And opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. And with regards to 13.4, the Township of Conmee, the Municipal Act and Municipal Elections Act Amendment criminal records. I have a motion from Councillor Summers, seconded by Councillor B. Dunbar. Be it resolved that council support the Township of Conmee with the request that the provincial government amend the Municipal Act and the Municipal Elections Acts as they be, so that people with a criminal record who have not had their record cleared from the RCMP database by order of the Governor General of Canada be prohibited from becoming a candidate in municipal elections, and that an elected local government official be disqualified from office upon conviction of a serious criminal offense and must resign, and that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to Ontario Premier Doug Ford, Attorney General Doug Downey, Solicitor General Sylvia Jones, Minister of Municipal Affairs Steve Clark, Association of Municipalities of Ontario, Rural Ontario Municipal Association, Northern Ontario Municipal Association, and the Township of Conmee. Discussion? All in favor of this motion?
In favor.
And opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. And under correspondence for information purposes, we have updates from General Retired Rick Hillier, read the vaccines. Now, this was last week, so I sat in on a presentation that was quite enlightening, and we are continually hoping that now that we have our first vaccine for our long-term care facility, that the second vaccine will be coming in short order, and that we'll be reporting on that at the next council meeting, if not before. So also for information, the North Shore Health Network, physician recruitment. As people know, Dr. Barnes has retired, and the other physicians have taken up Dr. Barnes's patient load and are slowly but surely bringing them in underneath their correspondence. So we're very, very fortunate that we have such great physicians in our community. Also, January 29th, the Algoma District Services Administration Board minutes were circulated. Were there any questions on these minutes? Councillor Wells?
Thank you, Mayor Hagman. With regard to, I think it's 6.5, the minutes note that there's a centralized intake protocol in all 7 service areas, but that many of the clients do not have the technology to participate. Could you elaborate as to what that centralized intake prototype is all about?
I just have to wake up my screen here. You were saying on 6.5?
6.5, yes. It says that there's a centralized intake prototype being
Yes.
implemented, but the clients are having difficulty accessing it because of a lack of technology. I'm just wondering what the prototype is all about.
So what the suggestion is that they would contact Ontario Works. This was an information item from Ontario Works for our board meeting purposes. If anybody is having any problems with the technology, that they are able to call into Ontario Works. And they will assist them. As we know, we definitely need broadband in our area, and we also need a learning curve for some of our residents to be comfortable using the technology. So my suggestion, Councillor Wells, is that they get in touch with Ontario Works locally, and they will get the assistance that is required.
Well, maybe I misread that. It just seems to me that there's a new system being implemented so that rather than go to the office, the clients would access the service electronically.
Well, that's where it says, when they're saying many clients do not have reliable technology or not able to complete the app because of the computer skills, they will teach them those computer skills, the client base themselves. Yeah, does that help? This was the information that was shared with
Yeah,
us.
I think it helps. It's just I'm not sure how many of the clients actually have computers that they could actually make use of, but that answers my question.
Yeah, and our world is going definitely to technology, and it's come a long way over the years. The hard part is that some people are just not comfortable with the changes, but there's a lot of patience. The staff are amazing in terms of how they are dealing with the client base, and they will walk them through. So, are there any other questions on our correspondence? Seeing none, I received no notices of motion tonight. I do have one bylaw that requires council's approval. This is moved by Councillor Jay Dunbar, seconded by Councillor Roy. Be it resolved that council authorize the mayor, CA clerk to sign bylaw 20-11, being a bylaw of the corporation of the town of Blind River to appoint a chief building officer official, was passed in open council this 16th day of February 2021. Are there any comments on this? Councillor Jay Dunbar.
Yeah, could you just give me a little explanation on that, Madam Mayor? I might not have heard that right, or I'm reading it right.
I'm going to turn the floor over to Ms. Scott, and she will give you your explanation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. To you, Councillor Dunbar, the bylaw is to appoint Telek Engineering as our CBO. Under the building code, we must appoint, and under the Municipal Act, we must appoint by bylaw for that position.
Okay. Thank you.
And are there any other questions on this? Councillor Roy?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just wondering, I guess for our CEO, we must have some open building permits and sites. Will Telek be able to start right away on working on these?
Telek Engineering was in town today and closed out 5 permits.
Beautiful, thank you.
And I'm not seeing any, oh, go ahead, Ms. Scott.
Sorry, I said closed out, but commenced with 5 building permits. Sorry.
It's a good start, for sure. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor of this bylaw? Opposed? And that's carried. And I have no council reports or announcements and no addendum. I do have a motion from Councillor Wells, seconded by Councillor Roy. Be it resolved that council go into a closed meeting at 7:34 p.m. in accordance with section 239 of the Municipal Act in order to address matters pertaining to an offer to purchase as well as legal advice. All in favor of this motion? Opposed? And that is carried. And I thank you for your time, council and the public. We are closing this portion of the meeting, and we will be rejoining later on in the evening. Thanks very much. And council, you have your instructions to go to a new Zoom. So I think that we would be safe to reconvene council. I do have a motion from Councillor Pastorero, seconded by Councillor Jay Dunbar. Be it resolved that council resume the open meeting at 8:11. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. Thank you. And we discussed in council tonight an offer to purchase as well as legal advice. These were the items that were discussed in closed. And moved by Councillor Pastorero, seconded by Councillor Wells. Be it resolved that council authorize the CAO clerk to accept the offer for 161 Young Fox for the full asking price with an extension of 5 years to reach completion in building a home. All in favor of this motion? Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. And I thought I saw our deputy mayor is,
She may be in the waiting room because I saw the chat message from her.
yeah, I thought I saw the chat message as well, but there we go. Welcome back, Councillor Summers. Technology. And you're just in time because I have a motion moved by Deputy Mayor Summers, seconded by Councillor B. Dunbar. Be it resolved that council authorize the mayor and CAO clerk to sign bylaw 21-12, being a bylaw of the corporation of the town of Blind River, to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting, February 1st, 2021, the minutes of the special council meeting of February 9th, 2021, and the minutes of the regular council meeting of February 16th, 2021, was passed in open council the 16th day of February, 2021. All in favor of this motion? Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. And last but not least, I have a motion from Councillor Wells, seconded by Councillor Roy. Be it resolved that council adjourn at 8:13 p.m. All in favor of this motion? Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you so much, council, and have a great evening. We will talk to you again soon. And thank you, Blind River.